Folks say this is the Keno capital of the world.
Welcome to Nick's. You come to shoot pool?
Then come to adopt a puppy.
So, what brought you here?
My truck.
She has an attitude.
I just don't like telling total strangers my life story.
Well, you're a fast learner, girlie. I'll give you that. This establishment could use an attraction. We'll back you.
I feel remiss if I didn't warn you about the man you're dealing with here. If Nick ain't got no reason to hurt you, he probably won't.
A quick introduction. Nick owns an old, run-down mansion by cheating his dad and turning the plantation house into a gambling business. The big money maker for Nick is Keno Pool. He has trained and boarded a pool hustler, Cameron, to take all comers for all their money. Nick's wife, Sheila, is a good person, but doesn't think too much of herself, so she stays with Nick and takes his... The host and the person who calls the Keno games is Little Nick, a great young man, but in a terrible situation. Then Diana shows up at the dilapidated estate by way of a flyer and some experience in Keno Pool. Her need for extreme amounts of cash quickly is her friend needs an operation. She somehow beats the house hustler, Cameron, and Nick, who thinks of himself at all times, convinces Diane to be his new hustler for the price of a room, board, and a quarter of the winnings. Now, Little Nick and sometimes Old Nick has the duties in teaching Diana their house rules, which for any player is the most important part of the game because different houses have different rules. Diana knows Keno Pool is illegal in some states, but she does have some basics of Keno Pool and is willing to learn Nick's house orders. Of course, she already knows you need a Keno board, which will be placed at the end of the pool table covering the two corner pockets. She's heard the game of Amos and Andy, which needs a different board and much harder. Diana has seen some Keno boards that have one or sometimes three Keno holes. Little Nick tells her their board only has one hole, which means if a ball falls in that hole, the person who is playing will double what the bet was, plus they will get the break again. She nods because she has seen some guys cry from going to riches to rags in one game. Little Nick emphasizes to win is to win continuously, to win by placing a numbered ball in the same numbered hole on the board or place a ball in the Keno hole. Little Nick continues, of course, when you win, it's still your turn. You rack the pool balls again, remove the triangle, then drag a number of balls from the backside of the racked balls. Diane already knew that, but she let Little Nick continue. After the break, you hopefully place a ball in the double Keno hole again or a numbered pool ball in the same numbered hole on the board. You can double your money continuously by winning up to 5 times by placing a numbered ball in the same numbered hole or place a ball in a Keno hole 5 times. Little Nick points out you can only call it quits when it's your turn. Also, it depends on the player or house rules. They might want the scoring system to apply also, meaning while both or several players continue to try to place a ball in the double Keno spot or a numbered ball in the same numbered hole on the board, is whoever reaches the score 61 first wins also. Then he gets to rack the balls and break and hope for the best. Scoring 61 is by, let's say, placing the numbered 15 ball in the 14 numbered board hole. That player would receive 29 points, but the next player goes. Little Nick points out that any time the cue ball is hit up on the board, it's a scratch, and the OB is spotted. The object ball is the ball that was struck by the cue ball, Little Nick explains. And then he continues and reminds Diana there are all sorts of rules and names for Keno Pool. For example, on your break, you could place a ball in a Keno hole and a numbered ball in the same numbered hole on the board, which is a large payout. For a larger payroll, there's a rule for 3 balls hitting their exact holes on a break. For Nick, he says that would be called a miracle and a giant payday. With all those winnings, it's still Nick's turn. He said he would call it quits then. Out of an alphabetic score, I give the film Double Down South a solid B-. I was totally surprised about this film. In fact, it dragged at parts, but it did not knock me out of the film. I was still looking at that old dirty torn wallpaper, scratch and dirty fingerprints near the doorknobs, along with the trim and baseboards that needed washed badly, scraped and painted. This took place in Georgia, 1998. I'm just saying that for a reference point, and you'll know why if you watch the movie. Hate to admit it, this film kind of enamored me because I didn't realize this film was 2 hours long. Maybe learning something new. The script, the acting, and the direction was a reason I didn't even notice I traveled back in time. I took license on what people were thinking, saying, just to explain the game of Keno. Took me some time to find out any information on the game.